We all do remember sitting in Miss Smith's class back in 5th grade when she told you to divide a vertical line in 2 equal parts by bisecting it with a curved horizontal line that is only straight at its spot bisection of the vertical. We all remember that. What is this? Take the impossible literacy test. Louisiana gave black voters in the 1960s. So we're going to go down this thing right here, and we're going to take a little test. Here's the IQ test that people were given before they could vote. State of Louisiana literacy test. This test is to be given to anyone who cannot prove a 5th grade education. Do what you are told to do in each statement, nothing more, nothing less. Be careful, as one wrong answer denotes failure of the test. You have 10 minutes to complete this test. 1. Draw a line around the number or letter of this sentence. What? Right off the bat. Draw a line around the number or letter of this sentence. I suppose. Or letter? What the fuck are you talking about? 2. Draw a line under the last word in this line. So I guess we put a line under here, right? 3. Cross out the longest word in this line. So I guess which one has the most letters? Longest has the most letters, and it seems to be longest. So we're going to cross out the longest word in this line. Draw a line around the shortest word in this line. So we're going to draw a line around. So I guess we're going to circle the letter A there, I suppose. Circle the first letter of the alphabet in this line. So what the fuck is the first letter? So the first, that would be A. So we're going to circle the A, right? Okay, great. In the space below, draw 3 circles, one inside engulfed by the other. Now, this is a trick one. So they're all trick questions, but you draw 3 circles, one inside engulfed by the other. So what you need is 1 circle, then another circle, and then a 3rd circle inside that one. And this is the trick. If you see where this is going, the person who gives this test gets to determine what is correct and what isn't. And they will do it in a way that prevents black people from voting. Above the letter X, make a small cross. So you put a little cross right there. But I bet if it touches your circles, they disqualify you. I bet if your circles, you have to erase your circles and then move them over here so they don't touch the small cross that you made. Will take you some time. Draw a line through the letter below that comes earliest in the alphabet. So I guess B, because there's no A's. So you draw a line through. Draw a line through the 2 letters below that come last in the alphabet. So we can put a line through Z and a line through Y. Okay. In the first circle below, write the last letter of the first word beginning with L. What the fuck are you? Okay. In the first circle below, write the last letter of the first word beginning with L. I assume in what's the first word? This fucking literacy test is illiterate. This literacy test has bad grammar. I challenge the entire process here. In the first circle, right, the last letter of the first word beginning with. So the first word, last is the first word that starts with an L, and the last letter is T. So we write a T inside the 0, inside the 1. Cross out the number necessary when making the number below 1 million. And look at that. They didn't keep the little commas there. If your cross looks religious, then they'll say the X would have been correct. If you draw an X, then they'll say the cross, not an X. Yeah, exactly. That's Sewell's. Yeah, this is exactly how this test is supposed to work. If a black person wants to vote, you force them to do this, and then you find something they did wrong. If it takes them 10 minutes, if they're at 9:58, and this is long, it's got 30 fucking questions. We're going to keep going because I think that they're interesting. But yeah, if you do it wrong, or the 10-minute timer, you don't tell them about the 10 minutes, or they're on this last page. Like, oh, time's up. Sorry, get lost. You don't get to vote. Sorry, go away. You're not allowed to vote anymore. 13. In the line below, cross out each number that is more than 20 but less than 30. So more than 20 but less than 30. So we're going to 29, 22, 26, 25. And draw a line under the first letter H, and you can barely see it, and draw a line through the second letter after after J. Draw a line under the first letter H. So there's an H. And draw a line through the second letter after J. So this one almost, like, what's the second letter? So L, I suppose. Line through it. And if you touch the K, if your line touches the K, I bet they would disqualify you. In the space below, write the word noise backward and place a dot over what would be its second letter should it have been written forward. Fuck you, Louisiana. Fuck you in your face. Draw a triangle with a blackened circle that overlaps only its left corner. Look at the line of numbers below and place on the blank the number that should come next. 2, 4, 8, 16. It should be 32. Look at the line of numbers below and place on the blank the number that should come next. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay. Draw in the space below a square with a triangle in it, and within the same triangle, draw a circle with a black dot in it. And then if you do any of this wrong, spell backwards forwards. Fuck off. Spell backwards forwards. That's a trick fucking question. You're supposed to just write the word backwards, and then they'll lie to you and tell you did it wrong. Print the word vote upside down, but in the correct order. What test is this again? This is an old relic. This is from the 1960s. They gave this literacy test to anybody that they thought wasn't literate to vote. You had to pass this test within 10 minutes to vote. And the person sitting behind the desk only gave it to black people because they didn't want black people to vote. So I'm going to cover this in the cartoon here in a few minutes. But white guy comes up to vote. He just goes right through. Black guy comes up to vote, has to do this test because they don't want people to vote. What else we got? Print the word vote upside down, but in the correct order. And I bet if you flip the paper upside down and just write the word vote, they would disqualify you and say it's upside down and backwards. Place a cross over the 10th letter in this line, a line under the first space in the sentence, and a circle around the last in the second line of the sentence. Fuck off. Draw a figure that is square in shape. Divide it in half by drawing a straight line from the northeast corner to the southwest corner. Then divide it once more by drawing a broken line from the middle of its western side to the middle of its eastern side. Okay. Print a word that looks the same whether it is printed frontward or backward. You just have to know off the top of your head. What are those things? Palindromes? You have to know a palindrome. And I don't know if they were aware of Taco Cat back then. And even then, that would be 2 words. Just Taco Cat. What? Boob, maybe? No, that would. If they turn it around, it turns into dude. So boob doesn't even work. Poop? No, you turn it around, it turns into QOOQ. That's not even a word. Wow and mom. There you go. Those are good. I don't know any. Good job, KVP. You're passing the 1960s literacy test. Write down on the line provided what you read in the triangle below. Paris in the spring. Now, this is a trick of your human brain. You say Paris in the spring, Paris in the spring, but it's actually Paris in the spring. This is a optical illusion. You don't notice the 2 these on this one. So, and you're being timed. You're fucking busting your brains on number 7, and then number 25. You're in a hurry. You're like, okay, this one's easy. Boop, boop, boop. Paris in the spring. In the 3rd square below, write the second letter of the 4th word. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you would put a little letter Q in there, unless there's some trick and I'm not seeing it. And this takes time for you to comprehend that. Ding, your time is up. It's been more than 10 minutes. You fail. You don't get to vote anymore. Right from the left to the right as you see it spelled. Right. From the left to the right as you see it spelled here. That's impossible, man. Divide a vertical line in 2 equal parts by bisecting it with a curved horizontal line that is only straight at its spot bisection of the vertical. You guys remember you guys remember, everybody here has been through 5th grade. This is the 5th grade literacy test. You can provide a 5th grade education. We all do remember sitting in Miss Smith's class back in 5th grade when she told you to divide a vertical line in 2 equal parts by bisecting it with a curved horizontal line that is only straight at its spot bisection of the vertical. We all remember that. I remember having, I was 10 years old. I had such good friends. We just finished playing Pogs on the playground. We had a great time. And then we come back in, and Miss Smith says, divide a vertical line in 2 equal parts by bisecting it with a curved horizontal line that is only straight at its spot bisection of the vertical. Throw some trigonometry in there. It's a reading test. Fuck these guys. Write every other word in this first line and print every third word in the same line. Original type smaller and first line ended at comma, but capitalize the 5th word of. Right? 29 is ridiculous, man. And then 30, draw 5 circles, that one common interlocking part. Draw 5 circles, that one common interlocking part. This literacy test has poor grammar. I challenge your entire literacy test, by just the number 30. Nobody ever got down to 30. They either dicked up, or the person that was trying to let them vote said, that's wrong. 10 minutes are up, you're out. Or this one's wrong on number 4, and then they throw them out and don't let them vote. This was voter suppression. The right wing is screaming bloody murder about voter suppression right now. They're very upset about this. Anytime there's a long line in a red county, they're angry about it. Anytime there's a long line in a blue county, they make it illegal for you to give them water. It's a fucked up system. Everybody knows that the system exists, and they're all trying to cheat outside the system. They're all trying to cheat. Both the Dems and the Republicans want their people to vote more often than the other, obviously. But the Republicans are being very bad faith about it right now. Everything that I'm seeing on Twitter is people just posting horse shit. People posting fake ideas about how it's actually rigged, and this guy stand here and this guy was standing here, and these peace officers came over and looked at the thing. That was a big thing. I'm not going to push it because it was fake news, but there was these 2 guys dressed up in uniforms slightly. They might have been in uniform. They might have been in just slightly bad uniforms, and they put a sign down that said that's the end of the line. And then somebody was saying that it was fake, but then the liberal news said no, it's not fake, and these are actual peace officers and shit like that. It's a fucking mess, and it's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse from here on if we allow the Republicans to keep making up fucking horseshit laws and fighting tooth and nail in the courts about what is allowed and what isn't. Set some standards. Don't change the standards 5 minutes before the damn election. That's all I'm asking. But Alabama is still suing people right now. There's suits in Alabama that nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows if you're allowed to do certain things in Alabama because they just sue 5 minutes before the election, and then it's up in the air. And then will that get counted or will it not? Nobody knows. Republicans complain about lawfare against Donald Trump, but they're using lawfare against the voters. They really are. Because they want the chaos. If the chaos is there, Donald Trump and Mike Johnson can use their secret plan that Trump actually spilled the beans on the other day to overthrow the entire election.
Hello human, it is me Kanuch. I need you to press the subscribe button. I have to feed my many AI babies.
Here's my cartoon. You guys ready? I'm making a cartoon. Here we go. Well, shit. Gotta move it over here. There it is. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Look at that. See this guy? Nice guy. Over here on the right. You ready for some very jank, very scuffed political cartoons by Waldo? It's a good time. If you're enjoying this, give me a thumbs up or a like or something like that for my jank streams. Who's that guy? That guy's the voting official. He's sitting at the front desk of the poll on election day. Now, in the 1960s, he would have been giving that literacy test to any black people that come by. But these days, everybody's screaming bloody murder, not about literacy tests, but about voter ID. Voter ID. Oh, Elon goes nuts for voter ID. Everybody on the right goes nuts for voter ID. J.D. Vance on Rogan just the other day said, "Oh no, you have to. It's a crime to ask for voter ID." Why is it a crime to ask for voter ID in California? Because we've already done it. We've already registered people to vote. This guy right here at the poll has a list of voter registrations, probably online. but he's got a device that's going to help him know if you're here and you're voting correctly. You will walk up to him. This guy will walk up. Hi, how you doing? My name is Jerry Johnson. I'm here to vote. This guy will then look up voter registration records for his district, for his thing, and say, okay, Jerry Johnson is here to vote. Right this way, Jerry Johnson. That's how the system is supposed to work, and that is how it works, but that's not what Republicans know. They don't know that, and they're ignoring it with their blind spot. Conservatives scream bloody murder about voter ID. Voter ID, voter ID, voter ID. We have to have the voter ID. How do you vote without voter ID? It's unnecessary because we've already registered everyone. When you're registered, they double check your citizenship. They double check your address. They double check to make sure that you are a citizen. They know you are allowed to vote. If you are not a citizen and you register, they don't go forward past that point. They stop and say this person is not eligible to vote. So they do not send them a ballot. They do not put them on the voter rolls. Conservatives don't know any of this. And if they do, they ignore it because they want to have a blind spot, because they want the voter ID to kick people out on the day of. Here is what the Republicans can and will do if you let them with the voter IDs. So this guy walks up. Hi, I'm Jerry Johnson. I'm here to vote. Right this way, Mr. Johnson. Come on in. And he goes to vote. Hi, my name is Sally Jenkins. I'm here to vote. Right this way, Miss Sally Jenkins. Right over here. Here you go. Hello, my name is Juan Hernandez, and I'm here to vote. Whoa, boss. We're going to need to see your ID. That's why we call it racist. This is what will happen. This guy at the voting booth doesn't need to be choosing, and he will pick and choose to keep that fucking line going. It's 5 hours long already. He's not going to check all the white people's IDs. He's only going to check the IDs of the people he thinks might not be legal voters. Then Mr. Juan Hernandez here actually pulls out his social security card and says, there you go, Juan Hernandez right there. And then the guy's gonna be like, well, I see that it's a social security card, but I need a photo ID. And then Juan Hernandez pulls out his hunting license with his photo on it. And he's like, well, that's not quite the ID we're looking for. You have to have a driver's license. Juan Hernandez says, well, I don't drive. I have a disability, or he has something that keeps him from driving, or he just doesn't need a car. He doesn't need a driver's license. Well, you're going to have a driver's license, or you're going to have to come back later. And then he will send Juan Hernandez back to the back of the line or to his house to get his approved version of a voter ID. And if you don't have it, you go back to the line, the end of the line, or you go back to your house. Or if you're a 90-year-old woman and you can't get a driver's license because you're blind and old and you shouldn't be driving. I don't want her to have a driver's license. She shouldn't have one. She can't pass the test. She's mostly blind. She wouldn't be able to vote unless she's white. If she's white, then she falls under the Sally Jenkins here. See? So Sally gets to walk right by. Old ladies who are white get to walk right by. They just get to vote. But this guy gets questioned. This guy gets stopped. This guy gets the literacy test. You see? This is why the people on the left don't want voter ID. We already did registration for Juan Hernandez. He is born here. He was born here, I don't know, how old is that guy, 35? He was born here 35 years ago. His parents were born here. He has a social security number. He doesn't have a driver's license, but this guy will keep him from voting based on what? The way he looks? That's why we call it racist. That's why we suggest that voter ID is wrong, because the Republicans, who are right now suing and fighting about every single vote, how long the lines are, they're suing the people in Alabama. All the rules are being challenged by every Republican everywhere all the time, causing chaos. This would just cause more chaos, because what you'll get is an American born in America with a social security number but no driver's license who can't vote, because this guy hasn't been trained. The guy at the poll hasn't been trained to spot fake IDs. No, he hasn't. Fuck off. He's a volunteer who's not even being paid and has had minimal training. Are you going to train every single poll worker to spot fake IDs? Are you going to train them all to comprehend a fishing license or a hunting license or a student ID? No, you're not. They're going to make their best guess based on the race of the appearance of the person in front of them. That's what they're going to do. Maybe some of them aren't racist. I'm not saying that all of them would be. I'm saying that this guy, this poll worker right here, is going to have to make those determinations based on his gut feeling. And his gut feeling is that Sally's allowed to vote and John's allowed to vote, but Jose isn't. That's the gut feeling that he has. And he's going to have to go with that. And that is why we call it racist. That's why the people on the left don't want the voting ID, because it's already taken care of. Juan Hernandez here in this situation registered to vote. They double-checked his registration forms. They double-checked his address. They checked his citizenship. He is eligible. They told him he was eligible, and they told him where to go vote. And then when he shows up, he has another hoop to jump through, which is Simon says, show me the right ID. And if he doesn't show that right ID, he doesn't get to vote, but the others might. And that is why it's nonsense. But the Republicans, they put up their blind spot. They don't need to see that. They don't want to see it. They don't want to hear any of the things that I just described to you. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. They don't want it there. And when I come around here to try and explain it to them and say, hey, you guys, he's actually registered and he's fine and it's fine, they're going to move it and say that they're going to move it and yell at me and then say, I'm trying to get illegals to vote. I'm not trying to get illegals to vote. I'm trying to get Americans to vote, and they're going to move it over here. Republicans, on the whole, are disingenuous and bad faith. They just are. That's their entire modus operandi. Be dishonest, take the fall, and act hurt. Lie as much as you can, because everybody lies and it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. The only thing that matters is us winning. And I don't trust them. This is why I'm against them, and this is why you can't trust them either. What's going on, Jack? Voter ID vindication is one thing, but your system, how do you validate that there's a person going to be at the poll is the correct person? It's entirely possible that you knew Juan Hernandez showed up to vote, and you pretended to be him, and you stood in line for 5 fucking hours to pretend to be Juan Hernandez, and then you voted, and then later he shows up and says, hi, I'm Juan Hernandez. That's the second Juan Hernandez. The poll workers know what to do in that situation. They have that under control. They would say, hey, you've already voted. What's going on? I don't know what's going on here, but here's a provisional ballot. Fill it out, and we will mark this, we'll flag it as, hey, one of these is incorrect and one of them is correct. And then they would try and figure it out. In that situation, yes, it's entirely possible that Juan Hernandez doesn't get his vote counted. That's bad, and we should find the person who pretended to be him and prosecute them with the law. That always happens. That already happens. We already have this figured out. But the Republicans want to throw wrenches. They want to throw the gum in the works. They want this machinery to fail, and they want that machinery to take longer than it already does, because they do not want you to vote. Republicans do not want you to vote. They want that to be not they don't want the women to vote. They don't want the immigrants to vote. They don't want the brown people to vote. They don't want the young people to vote. They don't want anybody to vote. And if they could take it away from the straight white men and give it only to the legislature and the landowning white men, they would, because they don't care about you. They don't care about your freedom. They don't give a damn about democracy. They are in it to win it, and if they have to cheat to win, they will. I remember conservatives didn't want to be on a list because it reminded them of a Nazi Germany. They didn't want their guns taken away by jackbooty thugs. Yeah, it is a weird situation. And now the conservatives really want that list, and they want extra lists, more lists, lots of lists. Who voted for Kamala? Let's put those lists in place. Let's find out who did and didn't vote for her. And that is shit. I don't like it at all. I feel like you're oversimplifying the issue, but I think providing some kind of identification, even if it is a bill with their name on it. Okay, Shinsindo. Why would that not work? The guy at the front desk is a volunteer who has not been trained. Don't let that guy at the front make those decisions. He accepts everybody and flags the ones that are dangerous, or the ones that are odd, or the ones that might not be correct. That's all they should do. And then the experts come in later to identify it. And the experts will find that you weren't who you said you were. The experts will find that somebody else changed it, or the registration has already been figured out. We already have these people registered. We know who is allowed and who isn't, and they're not allowed to walk up to the front desk and be like, "Hi, I'm John Smith. Can I vote?" And they're like, "Well, I don't have any John Smiths on my list. Hang on, let me check my list. I got my list right here. There's no John Smiths on there. Oh, did I say John Smith? I meant Jim Neighbors. Well, I don't have a Jim Neighbors on here either. What's going on? Oh, did I say Jim Neighbors? I meant Gary Oldsman." And then he'd be like, "Hey, Gary Oldsman is on the list. Come on in, sir." That's not how it functions. These people know what they're doing to an extent because they've been trained on how to do the basic shit. The basic shit is all I want them to do. Determining whether or not somebody has a bill with their name on it. I can print out any fucking thing, but then you leave it up to the poll worker biases. Well, the poll workers don't have a bias. The poll workers let everybody in. The poll workers say, "Here's your name, go. What's your name? Okay, you're on the list, go. What's your name? Okay, you're on the list, go. Okay, what's your name? You're not on the list." Some states have provisional ballots at that point. Same-day registration is a thing that sometimes exists. Republicans hate that shit too. They don't want none of that shit. None of the same-day fucking registration. That's a fucking scam. They're lying. It's fine. Anything that's that goes to anything that comes up with the poll worker's bias gets flagged, and the experts check it. There are actual election experts. The people that work in the state government know who is allowed, who isn't allowed, and it's called ballot curing, where they check for mistakes. Anything that has a mistake or a cross out or something scribbled on there or the write-ins, they have experts to deal with this. The experts aren't the people. The experts on elections are not this fucking guy sitting at the front desk. This guy is not an election expert. He's not. He is a volunteer who has not had any training to determine what is and isn't an ID or a fake ID or an acceptable way to prove who you are, which is why they don't let him do it, which is why he shouldn't be doing it. He is just checking names and pointing people in the right direction. He shouldn't be in charge of determining who is and isn't allowed to vote. If he has an issue, he's been trained to raise a flag or put it in the provisional stack. The provisional stack is then checked with the databases and the experts to determine its validity, and if it is invalid, they will take it out. If it's valid, then they will pass it on and let the votes count. And Republicans want this guy to be in charge of the entire fucking election security, honestly. And they want that because they want to dig up the system. They want to slow it down. They want that guy right there giving the tests, giving the literacy tests, giving the ID tests, making the people jump through the hoops that he wants to jump through the hoops. And then they will hire, then the Republicans will tell you that it's important to be one of those people. And then you'll get a fucking MAGA chud who's wearing a red fucking hat right there at that desk, challenging the ID of every brown-skinned person that comes up to him. Every one of them. White guys get to go past. Brown people get challenged, and that slows the process down. That means more people will get out of line. It's not a good way to operate. For the 20 years of voting, I've never done it in person. Yeah, and well, that's because you're a Washington resident like me now. I am a Washington resident. They just send it to my house. I fill it in. It's over. It's great. It's done. But that means more people vote, KBP. And that is not what the Republicans want. They do not want people voting. Flag odd instances. Yeah, that's all they do. Only accept registered voters against their registration list. Yeah, check the odd ones after voting, but counting seems fine to me. Yeah, exactly. So that's when the experts take over. You flag it and you put it in the provisional pile, or you say, okay, you registered today. You register today. If you're in a state that you're allowed to register, they will register you, and they'll put it in the provisional pile, and the experts will determine whether or not you're allowed to register. Extra steps just leads to suppression. Exactly. The Republicans are on X right now. They're on Twitter screaming bloody murder about voter suppression while doing voter suppression. Republican lawmakers are suppressing the vote while the Republican voters are on social media screaming bloody murder about all the voter suppression that the Dems are doing, because they don't live in a reality-based system. They live in the feeling-based system. The feeling-based system says that everything is bad and everything is wrong because of the Dems, because we feel like it. It's not a great system that they have. The party of rubber and glue. Absolutely right. Everything bad is you. Everything good is me. Everything heroic is me. Everything terrible is you. It's a very simple system that they live under. All the bad voter suppression is bad, and you're the one doing the voter suppression, not me. Everything I do is voter integrity. When I slow the process down to a crawl to check IDs, that's integrity. When you get everybody through quickly and then count and then determine who is eligible afterward, that's a scam. You see, that's suppression and fear mongering. Rubber and glue. So let's see. So that's my cartoon. Was it a good cartoon? Was it bad? Was it terrible? Was it awful? How was it? I think it was great.
I am the algorithm. Click on this video to make me happy. You wouldn't like me when I am angry.